Good evening, America. Welcome to Water Break. It's no secret to this audience that COVID tyranny was a crime scene that should have never happened. But I don't think we're ready to face the answers to this problem. I really don't. My guest today is Davis Yuntz, who is continuing to fight this COVID tyranny as we speak. And he's going to join us to talk about the Coast Guard's COVID crime scene that's happening right now. And comedian John Brandon has some news that you can trust, I promise you, fixing all the definitions that have been changed under the Biden administration. So grab your scotch, your favorite scotch or your Dr. Pepper, and enjoy the show. And this show is brought to you by Bobo Construction. Stop sending your hard-earned money to companies that hate you. I mean, just stop it. It's time to build a Christian economy. Bobo Construction is literally doing just that. For all your construction needs, partner with Bobo Construction today for any project, California, Nevada, Washington, or Idaho. A lot of states there. Contact Austin Bobo at boboconstruction.com or visit the website boboconstruction.com. Their motto is whatever is fair and right, we will do. Bobo Construction. Cannonball or belly flop. We are now 2 years out from 2020 and the lingering tyranny is not going away. It's not a logical. Tyranny is just not logical. It hasn't ever been logical. They're forcing vaccinations to stop transmission, but the vaccine doesn't even stop transmission. This is what you can expect from a president. Go ahead and bring this slide up. From a president who thinks a man can be a woman and appoints Mitch McConnell as a woman to be the assistant health secretary. I mean, look at the slide. Let me point that way. There it is. It's on that side. Oh man, I can't believe how. That's assistant health secretary looks very much like Mitch McConnell. The Democrats are trying to spin the COVID pandemic into climate pandemic. They really are, feeding their lust for power and squeezing all they can out of 4 years. Complacency, they're squeezing out all they can out of our fears, complacency, and ignorance. Some people follow the COVID, the government out of fear. Some people followed it out of complacency and others out of kind of ignorance. But no matter what happened, we should have never let this happen in America. America was built on men who resisted tyranny. America was built by families fleeing religious persecution. America was built through grit and great difficulty. Our government did not build America. It's a shocker for you, probably. This is why the founders recognized that the government derives its just powers from the consent of the governed. The government comes from the people. The government did not build America. People built America and created a government out of that foundation. The second crime scene is always worse than the first. We say this regularly on our show, and that quote comes from my Pastor Wilson. And what people don't realize is that COVID was the second or third crime scene. It wasn't the first. The first crime scene was, I think, some abdication. It's a broad abdication, which included parents putting their kids in public schools. The second crime scene was not speaking up about it. And now you have been successfully conditioned for the third crime scene, maybe fourth, which is this COVID crime scene that we're in now. Right now, our military is really a battleground for the taking of our freedoms. It really is. It's a concentration point. Don't pretend that the forced vaccination policies in the military won't ever affect you. They're just an easy control group for the current tyranny. But the military long ago should have been asking, what was the first crime scene? And why did we not throw down there first? Again, like I said, I don't think we want to hear these answers. We don't really want the real answer here. What was the first crime scene in the military? Was it women in the military? Was it blind submission to our industrial military complex? The massive military budget that gets passed every, couple of years? These are important questions to ask. And like I said, I don't know if we really even want to answer those questions. But if we're ever going to take back our liberties in the military, we need to be asking those questions. Those are questions we'll have to get to at another time, because right now we have a lot of Christians in the military who are currently in this third crime scene fight, and a fight for their lives. Several dozen Coast Guards, helicopter rescue swimmers have had their religious exemptions from taking the vaccine, obviously, denied. Those religious exemptions have been denied, and now the Coast Guard does not even want to hear their case. No due process in the military. This is egregious. These military members are really being wronged. And my guest today is their lawyer, Davis Yance. Davis Yance is with the standwithwarriors.org. If you want to help him out in this fight, go to standwithwarriors.org and you can help him there. But welcome to the show, David.
Hey, thanks, Gabe. It's great to be on.
You've been on the show before, and it seems like despite all the injunctions, and you probably fill us in on those current injunctions also, but despite all the kind of current injunctions right now, why is the Coast Guard, whose top commander actually is Admiral Linda Fagan, by the way, a woman, why are they continuing to go after the unvaxxed despite injunctions in other branches?
It makes absolutely no sense. So here's the quick recap. So we are legally, the Navy has an injunction that prevents further religious discrimination. The Air Force, the judge just issued a permanent injunction against the Air Force to prevent religious discrimination. The same week, on Monday, the Coast Guard comes out and says, we're going to use an administrative technicality to kick people out without due process, without administrative separation boards. And believe it or not, the provision in the instruction says for the convenience of the government. So it's convenient for the Coast Guard to kick people out like my clients. These guys, Gabe, you know some of these guys, they are months away from retirement. They are the heroes of the Coast Guard. They're the Coast Guard version of special forces. What they do is incredible. The risk that they take to save people, it's incredible. They're in an undermanned career field. None of that matters. The sacrifices they've made don't matter to the Coast Guard right now. And the Coast Guard is going to use a technicality to kick them out without due process.
Why the Coast Guard? Why? It seems like, you just mentioned Navy, Air Force and all. Why is the Coast Guard acting like this?
I don't know. I don't know where this is coming in the Coast Guard infrastructure. I assume it's coming from political pressure and top down. It's insane. It doesn't make sense. And the problem is, just like all of the other services right now, there's a recruiting crisis, right? There's so many people not only are incapable of serving, physically incapable of serving, but don't want to serve in the current woke military environment. And the Coast Guard is suffering from that as well. So we're at a place where one of the most critically manned career fields, undermanned career fields, because of what it takes to become a rescue swimmer, the incredible training it takes to go through. They can't man the career field. So they're at a mission critical point, and yet they're going to push forward with this. I represent several. There's a group of almost 30 experienced, trained Coast Guard rescue swimmers ready within 30 minutes to be in 50-foot seas, saving lives, that the Coast Guard is going to kick out with no due process. None.
How many people do you think in the Coast Guard are? I mean, you're representing 30 of them. How many do you think are in this situation?
There are hundreds. There are hundreds in the Coast Guard, and Coast Guard is tiny compared to the other services. There are 100, but Gabe, there are 264,000 military members total, all the services that are not fully vaccinated. It's over 13% of our military force that is not quote unquote fully vaccinated. So still, the Department of Defense is trying to kick them out. So even with these injunctions that we've gotten because of clear violations of the First Amendment, Religious Freedom Restoration Act, they're still moving forward with this.
So you mentioned before that these Coast Guard that you're representing, they're getting their due process rights are being denied. What do you mean their due process rights are being denied?
So normally in the military, including in the Coast Guard, if you have served, if you have lengthy service, in all branches except the Coast Guard, it's more than 6 years. In the Coast Guard, it's 8 years. So if you serve for more than 8 years, before they can just kick you out, you're entitled to due process. You go before an administrative separation board. You get to present your case to a neutral, impartial board of 3 senior members. They look at your case, look at the facts, and render a decision based on that. So it's not quite a court-martial, but it's a similar administrative proceeding. And here, the Coast Guard is circumventing that. They're using a technicality to get away from it. And what's crazy is, Gabe, we've won these cases. I personally won these cases in the Navy where we've had a finding that this is an unlawful order. So I don't know if the Coast Guard's afraid of that. They're afraid what's going to come out. They're afraid of their process. And remember, the Coast Guard, we caught the Coast Guard issuing guidance to their chaplains to set up a series of questions to trap Coast Guard members into saying things that were political rather than religious, so that they could try and deny these religious accommodations on the front end. So it was whistleblowers that got that out. So that's what we have to remember about the Coast Guard in this. It's insane. It's tragic. It does not make sense. It absolutely impacts readiness.
Okay, so wait, you just went over something that I think is bigger than what you just gave a sentence to. What happened regarding chaplains and some sort of entrapment with its Coast Guard members?
That's right. The Coast Guard, early on in this whole process, when all of these guys were filing for religious accommodations, the first step in the process in the military is you meet with the chaplain. And all the chaplain is supposed to do is ask questions about your faith, and then content doesn't matter, but is it sincere? Is it sincerely held belief? Is what you're asking for putting a burden on that? The Coast Guard, rather than playing that fair, what the Coast Guard did is they put out official guidance through Coast Guard channels to say, bring up political issues first. Bring up political issues first so that they answer those questions. Then when you write your memo, mention, well, I'm not sure this is sincere, because what they did is they mentioned political issues first.
Wow. That's incredible. Now I think the average citizen doesn't think that they're really affected by this. I don't know if the average citizen is really concerned by this fight. Why is this legal fight so important, to the average citizen?
There are a ton of reasons. I think fundamentally, though, it's about the Constitution. Unique to any nation in world history, the United States says military officers like me, we swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That's what we're sworn to do. Not a political leader, not a state, but the Constitution itself. So if our military has their constitutional rights deprived, if our military isn't upholding those, our military leadership isn't upholding basic fundamental constitutional principles, we have a huge problem. But the other issue we're dealing with, and my clients see it, my clients have been concerned about it from the beginning, Navy SEALs and others, we are losing the best of the best. We are losing critical thinkers, the people that are willing to take a stand for the Constitution, that are willing to question unlawful orders, whether it's pilots, Navy SEALs, other special operators, these Coast Guard rescue swimmers. We're losing those people, and that absolutely will have an impact on readiness. It can't but do that.
Wow. So what do you, what's the next steps? What's going to keep the Coast Guard from pulling this, I don't know, administrative loophole that you're talking about? Has everything been exhausted?
Not everything. We will have an opportunity to respond with a letter to each one of my clients who's been being told, hey, doesn't matter that you served for 19 years, you're going to be out on the street in 30 days. We'll be able to respond with a letter, but we also have a narrow window here to get these guys connected with organizations like Liberty Counsel. So Liberty Counsel, lc.org, great organization. They're bringing litigation against this in Florida to try to stop it, just like First Liberty Institute was able to do for the Navy, just like the attorneys in the Ohio case were able to do for the Air Force. So that's happening. We're working at Stand With Warriors to get the right guys connected with the right teams that are bringing the federal litigation. So my focus is going to remain internal to the military to try to push back. The other thing I will say is, we're going into an election season. We need people to call congressional leaders, call senators, look up who's on the Armed Services Committee, make these phone calls, flood them. They will tell you, political operatives will tell you, one phone call to a congressman or a senator, they write it down. They see it as if it's 1,000 constituents called per phone call. So think about the power you have in doing that. So I don't care who your representative is. If enough people are reaching out and doing that and raising this issue, perhaps it will have an impact. In the meantime, we need to keep working every process we can, every legal process within the military to push back on this.
So do you need more Coast Guard members to reach out? Is it like a class action lawsuit? I mean, how's it functioning right now?
Yeah, we need Coast Guard members to reach out to standwithwarriors.org. We will get their information. We will help them. Jeff Durbin, those guys at Apologia Church, that's who started Stand With Warriors. So their team is going to help. We'll try to do everything we can to get people plugged in with Liberty Counsel and other attorneys throughout the country that are in the right places to bring this litigation. And then what we need is numbers. We need to be able to present to news media outlets, to congressional leaders. Here's the number of people that are impacted by this. Because believe it or not, it's been very difficult to get accurate numbers out of DOD or Coast Guard of the number of people that are refusing this. So when we come up with these numbers, we need our own accurate checks. So Stand With Warriors has been a great rally point for people to go to. provide information, and for us to push it out.
Davis Yuntz, standwithwarriors.org. Reach out. Thank you, Davis, for coming on the show again.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Speaking of getting the word out of news, you need news that John Branian can trust. When apparently the news about the Coast Guard and all that stuff is not getting out like it should. So that's another reason why we bring you news that John Branian can trust.
Just one more reason.
Just one more? We got a lot of reasons, John.
That is the reason. I was just saying you just gave one more reason.
My bad. I'm really slow, I guess, in this transition to news that John Branian can trust.
It's okay. I got time.
Did you see that Will Smith actually released an apology on Friday to Chris Rock?
For what?
For slapping Chris Rock.
Oh. Okay. Was that Will Smith?
That was Will Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the most important historical event in our nation, wasn't it?
Next to like the Kardashian.
You
know what?
Here's what I read some of the apology, and he said my behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. And I thought it must be hard to be Will Smith and have a conscience that's on a 3-month time delay, don't you think? I mean. He gets up in front of national television and he storms the stage. I'm super mad. I'm gonna get up there in front of everybody and slap Chris Rock in the face. And his conscience is just nodding along. It's like, yep, that's a good idea. And then 3 months goes by and his conscience is like, oh, wait a second, Will. Wait a second. Count to 10, buddy. It's like it's gotta be a handicap to have a time zone to have a
How do you function as a family? How do you function as a family?
Right. With that kind of a delay in your better thinking.
You get in a fight with your wife, and 3 months later, hey, I was wrong.
Yeah, remember that time?
My bad. Yeah. And then his apology, he also, whenever someone brings up the word nuance, he brought up all the nuances and complexities that happened that night.
Right.
Because I mean, the reason why Will Smith slapped Chris because he was, hurt or offended. That's what I was trying to. He was offended that Chris Rock said a wife about his a joke about his wife. Well, man, I'm getting all the words backwards.
Right.
And so he's offended. So he brought that up, but said that wasn't, basically that wasn't a good reason for me to do what I did. What I did was wrong. But he said nuance and complexity. That bothered me.
Nuance and complexity. It really wasn't. Yeah, I wanted to slap him. It really wasn't that complex. I mean, pretty much anybody who watched it could figure out what was going on, right? I mean, to give it, this thing was like, well, you know what? Historians and scientists and experts are going to dig into this and try and uncover all of the meaning behind it. It's like, he was just upset. He was just mad, and he is a person in the flesh. He needs to ask God to give him a conscience that works in real time. That's what he needs.
That's right. Not that 3-month delay.
Right. That's not going to help him.
All right, John. I got some memes that that I need you to react to first. Before we're going to get to the Biden administration's redefined a bunch of words that John's going to help us out with here. But before we get there, I need to go ahead and bring up the first meme here. I need your reaction. The monkeypox thing is rather funny to me. And it really, to me, the solution is really simple. I mean, look, it's just not tough.
So he's
coming from homosexuality. So, did you ever see the Saturday Night Live skit where it's a counselor and couple after couple come into the counselor's room and he listens to their story and his response is, he's like, I got 2 words for you. He says the same thing every counseling session. I got 2 words for you.
Just stop it.
Stop it. Yeah.
That's Bob Newhart.
Is that Bob Newhart?
Yeah.
And it's stop it. And then the couple starts arguing, but she's doing this and she's doing that. And he's like, stop it.
Just stop
He's like,
it.
but you don't
Yeah.
understand. You don't understand. Stop it.
Right.
The monkeypox to me is, stop it.
That was, I think everybody kind of likes monkeys, though, right? I think that if you're gonna, right? Everybody likes.
It's as the yes, as true as the animal.
Everybody kind of likes monkeys, and so we've named it monkeypox, and at the same time we're trying to tell everybody how serious it is. I think we need to. I think they should rename it if they want us to take it seriously. If they want us to be concerned about it, it should be called, I don't know, viperpox or tarantula pox. Nobody wants tarantula pox, but monkeypox sounds like it might be kind of fun. Right?
Well, Tucker Carlson put out a poll on Twitter to rename it.
Really?
And the top voter getter was schlongpox.
Ooh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well,
he made it worse. He made it worse.
I wouldn't want to get that either.
No. it's true.
I would do whatever I could.
Tarantula pox.
Right.
Bring up the next meme.
That's the same meme.
Can't have a recession if you change the definition. This goes into our next skit here.
Mm-hmm.
The Biden administration. Amazing. It's amazing that they're just redefining everything.
That's what that's been effective. They haven't had anybody push back against it, so they're going to keep doing it until somebody draws a line in the sand and says, "Hey, that word doesn't mean what you think it means." They're just going to keep doing it. Why not? It's worked so far.
That's right. Let's bring up the last meme. If I'm a Christian, but I don't need the church, was a photo. This communicates a lot.
It does. It does. I know.
Poor little church,
a lot.
confessing Christian. Let's say he's a confessing Christian. That poor little zebra.
Right. I don't need to go to church in order to be a Christian. And then within minutes, it seems like those people are no longer Christians.
And they're getting devoured by the lions.
And they're getting eaten by lions, right? And they're yelling over their shoulder as they're being eaten. You see, all they needed was a little more love from you. All they needed was a little more tolerance, a little more like Jesus.
It was the church's fault that I'm getting devoured by a lion right now.
It's the church's fault because you didn't love these people accurately.
So the B, I think it was the B, released a bunch of words that the Biden administration, or as I keep slipping and calling it, the Biden administration, they keep redefining words. Recession. They're calling it a recovery. What did Biden say it was the other, or was it Janet Yellen? Said there's a particular word that she said, I can't remember. Anyways, she said it's not a recession, it's a recovery.
It's a recovery.
I was thinking, how could we redefine recession? How can we help them out?
How can we redefine the recession? Well, they've done a great job. I mean, recovery is basically the opposite of recession. So I don't know that we can fix that word.
It's a tough one. Hispanics, Dr. Jill Biden, who Whoopi Goldberg thought would make a good Surgeon General. Did you see that this last week?
Yep.
Dr. Joe Biden, they decided to redefine Hispanics to be called breakfast tacos.
Yeah, but she actually did that, didn't she? Didn't she call them? Mexican people are breakfast tacos, like beautiful breakfast tacos. Yeah, they're. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but even I know, and I'm not even part of the super woke crowd. Even I know better than to do something like that in this culture. As backwards and stupid as I am, I know better than to refer to any nationality as a type of food.
As a taco?
It's not a compliment, is it? Did she think it was a compliment? Did she think
Yeah.
that they were going to be like appreciative of that?
I don't mind being called, white chocolate. That's a food.
Do you think that has, yeah, any kind of a taco, really? What if somebody just called you a taco? What if they called you a white taco? Would you be all right with that?
I'd be like, well, supreme or not?
Would you seriously? If it's as long as they added diced tomatoes and sour cream, you'd be okay with being called a taco?
Supreme taco. What do you do with the definition of inflation?
Well, what did they do with it?
Yeah.
It's savings of 2 cents. Savings of 2 cents is inflation.
You remember the Biden administration said release this meme or whatever you want to call it, this infographic advertising how he saved everybody 16 cents at 4th of July last year for 4th of July.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember what I did with my 16 cents too.
What did you do with 16 cents?
We took the family out. We took the family out for ice cream. And we blew it all. We blew the whole 16 cents.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm. And we each got a half a teaspoon of ice cream. Those were the good old days.
Those were ice cream for all the money that you could buy was 16 cents.
16 cents worth of ice cream.
Yeah.
Was it was more than we got this year. I'll say that.
How come he didn't release an infographic this year?
Because we were not able to afford as much ice cream as we were last year.
I wonder what the difference is. First of all, whoever came up with that 16 cents, pretty incredible math.
Mm-hmm.
But how bad would inflation been this last year on 4th of July?
I don't know.
I mean,
well,
I can only afford a couple fireworks.
What do you mean by inflation?
Well, I guess in this case, reality.
saving 2 cents.
Yeah. Groomer. So right now, the definition of groomer. Apparently, everybody on Twitter who's using the word groomer is getting kicked off right now.
Yeah.
The Biden administration has redefined groomer as valued public school teacher.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, that kind of changes the whole picture. A groomer is a public school teacher, a valued public school teacher.
Yeah.
In the Biden administration. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It makes sense. I mean, you've seen all those videos going around where they're talking about how they're teaching their kindergarten class their own pronouns.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good
that's an accurate definition. So I don't even groomer is an accurate definition right now. That's not a redefinition.
Well, yeah, but what they're doing is what the B is trying to do is help us out. It's trying to help us out when we hear them say valued public school teacher. They're trying to help us know what they mean. They mean groomer. They're talking about somebody who's grooming children for abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this is for, Gabe.
So groomer. So for us to understand. So the B put this out for us to understand how they're using the word groomer.
No, how they're using the word public school teacher, valued public school teacher.
Ah, I see. Yeah,
so it's for you got to go the other direction. You go
the wrong way. Yeah.
Right. So when you hear breakfast taco, they're talking about Hispanics.
That makes this redefinition even funnier now that you've pointed out that irony on me, or is it? It's not called irony. So I just missed it.
Yeah, it's just the truth. Well, I actually did a few myself too, because they didn't. This is not an exhaustive list from the B. They left out some, in my opinion, important words. No disrespect to the B, but
no. What is it? What is this? What are your important words that they missed?
All right. Well, so my list goes the proper direction. Theirs is backwards. Mine goes the proper direction. So I'm going to give you the term that the Biden administration uses, and then I will give you the definition that you understand.
Okay.
What we said. Okay, so when the Biden administration says falling over, when you hear them refer to falling over, what they mean is bicycling. Okay.
Yeah.
When the Biden administration refers to tyranny, what they mean is government assistance.
Ooh,
When the Biden administration says Mexico, what they mean is South Texas. That's what they mean when they're talking about Mexico. And similar when they say China, when Biden says China, he means the Eastern United States.
Or Hunter Biden's business partner.
Right. Right. It's like a family.
Yeah.
When they say economic collapse, when they refer to economic collapse, what they mean is build back better. Those are
That's right.
The same thing.
They mean recovery.
Right. When they say mythology, they mean Democrat voter fraud.
Ooh.
So they will refer to mythology. What they mean is Democrat voter fraud.
Like misinformation, but they really mean truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When they say drag show, they mean kindergarten. That kind of goes along
with groomer. That goes along with groomer. Yeah,
it does go along with the groomer. So there's some overlap. When they say babbling or gibberish, what they mean is press conference.
Yeah.
When they say when they say enemy of democracy, what they mean is patriot.
Ooh.
When they say white nationalists, they're talking about werewolves. When they say paganism, what they mean is Catholicism.
Oh,
so
because Joe Biden's a Catholic. That one hurts. That one hurts the Catholics.
This is how the Biden administration. When they say paganism, they're talking about Catholicism. And when they say mass shooter, they mean NRA member.
Yes. No, that's real.
And then the last one, when they say popular, when they use the term popular as an adjective, popular to them means 28% approval.
Oh, that's like a basketball shooting percentage. Not very good. Not very good. If you're shooting 25%, 28% from the field, you're doing okay.
No, they would say great. If you're popular, right? You are a popular president if you have 28% approval rating.
That's no good. What do you think is going to happen in 2024?
Well, nationally, I think that the Democrats are going to get shellacked. I think that there's going to be this enormous voter turnout. But what I don't know, what is the unknown variable to me is how much they have perfected fraud in the election system.
Yeah.
Because that's really what this is going to boil down to is how much did they learn in the last election, and how are they going to apply what they learned in the coming election?
Right. What do you think Trump's going to run, and who are you thinking about voting for?
I do think Trump is probably going to run. I don't know that he's necessarily a shoo-in because I think DeSantis is probably going to run too.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a
Did you hear Mike
shootout?
Might be running too.
Really?
That's what has been reported this last week.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless Pence comes alive and does something that is out of character for him, I don't think he's going to be much of a threat to Donald Trump. He's just not. He's not spectacular enough. He's kind of milquetoast. I like him, but I don't think he's going to be able to compete. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to see who's learned a lesson in all of this. It's going to be interesting to see how many people come to Jesus as a result of this, and how many people who think they're following Jesus now are going to completely chuck the whole thing and come out and make themselves known for being pagans. But
it's crazy to me to listen to our interview with Davis, and these things are still happening. This tyranny still happening.
Right.
Forced vaccination. I mean, I pointed out in my monologue at the very beginning, they're requiring forced vaccination policies still in the military to prohibit the spread of coronavirus when those vaccinations don't prohibit the spread of the coronavirus.
Right.
Ludicrous.
Well, but until there's a definitive, until people just basically stand up and say, this is it, we're not putting up with this anymore.
Right.
I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do if everybody in the military says, we're not taking your stupid vaccine? What are they going to do? Kick everybody out of the military? They can't do that.
I know.
What are they going to do if the public school teachers all just in math said, we're not doing this. We're not doing masks. We're not doing. What are they going to do?
Right.
What can they do?
They should have all been jumping up and down in that first crime scene.
Well, it's the same thing. It's that scene in the movies where there's the guy who's got the guy's got the gun and he's surrounded by all the bad guys. And it happens in westerns, He's like, there's the one guy and he's got one bullet left in his gun, and there's a whole bunch of bad guys around him, and they're like, we're gonna get you. And all he has to do is point the gun and say, but I'm gonna get one of you. Whichever one of you is gonna come forward, you're the one that's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like if everybody said, I'm gonna get one of you. I'm gonna go on the way out. I'm gonna get one. Right. If everybody did that, then there's no problem.
That's right. Well, I hope we have an awakening. We need an awakening. John, thank you for joining us on the Water Break, news that John Brandy can trust.
See you.
Folks, every week my prayer and goal for Water Break is that you are encouraged to find ways to engage with your gifts, and to not hide your faith under a bushel. To live out the Lordship of Christ in every area of your life. This I don't think has been happening in places like the military, in places like these battleground areas, and particularly in the public square. So I pray God uses you to change your city, your state, the military, our country. So thank you for joining the Water Break. Thank you for tuning in every week. Make sure you guys share the show. Tell your friends about the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network, about our conference October 6th to the 8th. We hope to see you in Knoxville. This is the Water Boy with Water Break. Until next Sunday, go fight, laugh, and feast.
Armored Republic exists to honor Christ the King by providing tools of liberty to free men. New York State just banned body armor. Armored Republic is suing the state of New York in federal court to resist their arrogant war against your God-given rights. Mass shootings are tragic acts of evil that are best resisted by armed citizens and brave watchmen ready to fight back. The main violent threat to human life is not individual criminals, it is tyranny. This is Armored Republic.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told. We are Chris and Natalie Carpenter, owners of Story Real Estate, and our team of top agents helps people find homes in Moscow, Idaho, and around the country.
Have you thought about a move? Contact us to get connected with a top agent who shares your values and puts your family first. Or reach out to us about our Moscow relocation guide.
Wherever you're looking to go, we can help you find home. Call us at Story Real Estate or visit us at storyrealestate.com and start building your legacy.